Good morning, everyone. I am Laramie Elias. In continuation of our topic, I'll be talking about structure of adverbial phrase. An adverbial phrase in linguistics, it is a multi-word expression operating a syntactic function. It is to modify other expressions including verbs, adjectives, adverbs, adverbials, and sentences. It is a group of words that function as an adverb. It also referred to as an adverb phrase that takes a role of a verb in a sentence. Let's examine what that means. Well, an adverb is a word that modifies a verb and it usually tells us how, when, where something was done or why an action occurs. So let's look at an example. He walks oddly. Oddly is an adverb. It modifies the verb walks and it tells us how he walks. This is a normal adverb. Now look at this one. He walks with a limp. This time, we have a group of words telling us how he walks. So this group of words is a phrase. It's an adverbial phrase and it modifies the verb walks, just like oddly did. Let's look at an example with when. Alright. Tony is talking now. Now is an adverb. It modifies the verb is talking and it tells us when. So now let's look at an adverbial phrase. Tony is talking in a minute. Now we have a group of words. This group of words is modifying is talking and it tells us when. It's an adverbial phrase. Let's do a where one. Sally lives here. Here is an adverb. It modifies the verb lives and tells us where Sally lives. Sally lives around the corner. Now, we have a group of words that modifies the verb lives, tells us where Sally lives. Now, it's common for adverbs to tell us why an action occurs, but you can't give a reason using one word, so adverbs that tells us why are usually adverbial phrase. Like, she came to Paris to find me. To find me is an adverbial phrase modifying the verb came to tell us why. Okay, let's look at the definition again. An adverbial phrase is a group of words that function as an adverb. Hopefully this makes more sense now. So let's get rid some of that. I want you to look at these words in the adverbial phrases with in and around. You might recognize this as prepositions. But prepositions are words that appear in a sentence to show the relationship between one word and another. So look at the top one from the given sentence example. With a limp. With is a preposition. In the sentence, he walks with a limp. With a limp is called a prepositional phrase. It's also an adverbial phrase as we've covered. The next one, take a look at the sentence, Tony is walking in a minute. So in a preposition, in a minute is a prepositional phrase. It's also an adverbial phrase. Next is around the corner is a prepositional phrase. It's also an adverbial phrase. But look at this one. To find me, in this example from the sentence, she came to Paris to find me. To is not a preposition. It is part of the infinitive verb to find. So adverbial phrases can be prepositional phrases or infinitive phrases. Another. Look at the first example. He walks oddly. What if we said, he walks very oddly? We now have a group of words functioning as an adverb. Well, yes, the term very oddly would classify as an adverbial phrase. Moving forward, let's quickly summarize the point we've just covered. So there are three main forms of adverbial phrase. First is the prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase, remember this example. He walks with a limp, in which the word with in the sentence is the prepositional. Second is the infinitive phrase. And remember this example. She came to Paris to find me. The word to is the infinitive phrase. And the third forms of adverbial phrase is the adverb with an intensifier. An example, He walks very oddly. The intensifier here is the word very. Like that, a word like very, extremely, or completely, those are the adverb with an intensifier. Okay, these are three main forms of adverbial phrase. There are types of adverbial phrase. These are adverbial of manner. This type is an adverbial of manner will talk about the manner in which something happens, an action happens, right? Second, adverbial of time. It will talk about the time of the action. Third, adverbial of reason. It will give the reason for to the action. Fourth, adverbial of place. It talks about the place of the action where an action takes place. Fifth, sentence adverbial. It will modify the entire sentence. It will give an information about the entire clause. Sixth is the adverbial of frequency. It will talk about the frequency of the action, how frequently that particular action happens or takes place. The last is the adverbial of degree. It will talk about to what degree something is true, right, towards degree something happens, or to what degree something is true or correct. Alright, so let's look at them one by one and let's understand. Adverbial of manner. Example. They opened the box hastily. They opened the box in what manner? Hastily. So hastily is an adverbial of manner that is giving information about a word opened and talking about in what manner the action happened. Alright? So adverbial of time. Moxie is taking a class now. So now is an adverbial of time. Third, adverbial of reason. They left their jobs to start a business together. They will be an infinitive phrase. An adverbial of reason is always an infinitive phrase that gives reason for an action. So why did they do that? For this to start a business together, right? So that the adverbial of reason. Next, adverbial of place. Don't go there. It's not safe. The word there is an adverbial of place since it talks about the place of an action. Fifth, sentence adverbial. These are the generally are one word that tells the speaker opinion or a point of view about the entire situation. Let's look at this example and try to understand how they modify the entire sentence. Example. Fortunately, I was there to help you. So the main clause is for I was there to help you. Now, this entire situation is fortunate to the speaker. It was fortunate that I was there to help you. So according to the speaker or from his or her point of view, it was fortunate that he or she was there to help you. Second example. Shockingly, he finished everything within an hour. So this entire thing, he finished everything within an hour. This entire thing is shocking to the speaker. So this word fortunately and shockingly modify the entire main clause sentence. Another types of adverbial is the adverbial of frequency. We usually comes here to have noodles. These adverbials talk about the frequency of an action. We usually modifies the frequency of adverbial. Last, adverbial of degree. I have almost finished my work. So the word almost is modifying the word finish and talking about to what extent this verb is true. Second example. The coffee is too hot. So it's telling us what degree it is very hot or too hot. There is another adverbial of degree. The coffee is extremely hot, very hot, too hot, so that the adverbial degree. Third example, he cakes somewhat fast. So somewhat is modifying the adverb fast. Moving forwards, the term adverbials refers to all structures that can take the position of an adverb on a phrase structure level. Adverbs modify the functional categories that occur in a sentence and may also be treated as predicates, which are functionally open and require one or more arguments to be satisfied. There are classes of adverbials: the adjunct, conjunct, and disjunct. So adjunct refers to information of the action or state in the clause or aspects of things within the real world. Example: I couldn't call you as I had not saved your number. So here the phrase "as I had not saved your number" is an adverbial of adjunct. It answers the question, why couldn't he call? Next is conjunct. Conjunct contextualizes relationship between texts. It provides a connective function. An example, on the other hand, and additionally. Alright, on the other hand, some of my other friends are yet to come. Like another. Furthermore, to begin with, and however. The last one is the disjunct. Disjunct conveys a speaker's evaluation of something. An example, the word fortunately, obviously, frankly, those are disjunct in adverbial. So, fortunately, I have saved your number. So that is an example of disjunct. That's all for my part of the report, and thank you for listening.